3 months ago, I bought the cheapest UTV Tractor Supply sells, the Bighorn 550. Not just to ride around in, but to actually use it. Real land, real chores. If you've got small acreage and you're looking for an affordable UTV to ride around your property and get some work done, this video is for you. Because I've had some time in this machine now, there's some things that we need to talk about. And I've learned that sometimes the cheapest rig, well, it could be a gamble. I'll tell you everything I've learned in the last 3 months. Okay, now that you've seen the intro, let's talk about the things that I like about this after 3 months of use. And the truth is, I really like it a lot. And so, you know, we use this thing every single day around the farm. We're putting T-posts in the bed. We're running feed bags to our chickens. I'm going out to the food plot and I'm taking care of the food plot that we're building down into the woods. And does it have all the premium features and comfort things like some of the bigger names and more expensive models have? Not at all. But what it does have, it's got the power steering, it's got the CarPlay, and it's got the backup camera. We're going to talk more about that later in the video. So, you know, does it have some drawbacks? Absolutely. But at this price point, that's what I was expecting. But also at this price point, it really surprised me of how good it's worked. But I'm going to talk about some of the positives, and then I'm also going to talk about some of the negatives or the pros and cons of this Bighorn 550 throughout the video. And then you can make your own decisions. I'm not a salesman. I don't try to sell you anything. So you can look at this Bighorn from my experience in the last 3 months, and you can decide if it's something that you want. There's Bighorn forums out there on Facebook. There's all kind of review videos on it. And we're going to hit some of the major points that should not be a surprise to anyone that's looking at the Bighorn UTVs. So let's get right into it and let's talk more about the Bighorn 550. So let's talk about some of the cons, I guess you would say. The cons are it is loud, and we've talked about that when I first did the review video on it. It's a little loud. That hadn't gotten any better. Still loud. So if you get inside the cab of this thing, it's going to be very, very loud, right? So when you're riding around this thing and the windows are closed, and we're going to talk more about the windows and the doors here in a minute, but when you're riding around and you got all the windows closed, the doors closed, it's just loud. And I don't know if you ever get used to that. Now, are there some things that you can do to mitigate that? Absolutely. One, I think, which I'm going to do in a later video, is I'm going to take the doors off. And there's two reasons why I'm going to take the doors off. Number one is because it's loud, and I'm thinking that maybe that will help, you know, dissipate some of the noise. And number two, I said mitigate and dissipate in the same proximity of each other. Did I use proximity right? Or did I get lucky and just get 2 out of 3? But anyway, you can mitigate some of that by having the noise dissipate by taking the doors off. I think. I'm not sure yet. We're going to find that out. But the second reason I'm taking the doors off is because it gets hot, right? It's just hot inside that thing. It does have the window opening vents that you can slide back and forth. That's really, really useful in the wintertime. In the summertime, it does allow the air to go through these slotted vents in the window. So that's a nice feature there. But it's not, if you're not doing 40 miles an hour, it's still doggone hot. You know what I mean? So that's another reason why I'm taking the doors off, because I'm hoping that it helps the sound, and I'm hoping that it cools it off some, which it definitely will cool it off some as we go around. Also, so people say you can buy some different mufflers for it or muffler tips for it. I have not seen those. So I did email a company, Whiskey Bent, maybe? I can't remember. I saw another YouTuber say that they put that Whiskey Bent muffler tip on there and it helped the sound of it, or the noise level of the machine. I emailed that company and said, hey, I'll buy it if it helps reduce the noise. If not, then, you know, I don't need to have a fancy muffler tip on it. And there's like, no, it's not gonna help. And I can't remember the name, but I'm pretty sure it's Whiskey Bent Metal Works or something like that. So if there's a solution out there, maybe you could buy some noise dampening insulation to go inside under the seats or something. I've got to try something because it's definitely loud. And another thing is sluggish in high gear. It's not going to take off in high gear very fast. So when you're running down the road here and you come to a complete stop, and you're in high gear, well, if you're going uphill or slightly uphill in any fashion, you're going to feel that it's a little sluggish in high gear. Now, I'm in Florida, so there's not a lot of big hills for me to go up, so I'm not really too worried about the sluggishness of the high gear because I just throw it in low gear and I go. If you're in a hilly part of the country, and you're going to need to put it in low gear. You're going to need to put it in low gear. I'm not sure that you'll need to go the extra step and put it in four-wheel drive as well, but it is a little sluggish in high gear starting off from a stop when you are going uphill. So keep that in mind, and if you have a lot of hilly terrain, you're going to need to start off in low gear, maybe even four-wheel drive. But you know, I don't have that problem here, but I can see where it would be a problem for people that are living in hilly countries. It's the gearing, right? That's the gearing of the machine, right? So that's another thing. And also the only malfunction, I guess it would be, and that's not even the right word, malfunction. The only issue I've had is the speaker cover fell off on the driver's side here. That little mesh speaker cover that fell off like a week after I got it. I keep trying to put it back in there. It keeps falling off. So I just said, you know, what the heck, I'm just going to leave it off. And I don't really listen to the radio in it that much anyway. So you guys know, if you watched any of my tractor videos, I talk about I'm a sound diva. UTVs, tractors, motorcycles, they have crappy speakers. So I'm normally wearing headphones anyway because I like high quality sound, high quality music. But the speaker cover did fall off, but it doesn't affect the sound. I can still take and receive phone calls really good on the CarPlay. So it doesn't affect the function of the speaker. Just the cover came off, if that makes sense. Well, of course it makes sense. So that's some of the cons, some of the drawbacks that I've noticed so far since in the last 3 months that I've had the machine. You know, so is this buggy perfect? Nah, but at the price point, you're not paying for perfection. You know, there's a lot of good in this machine. So we're going to talk about the good in this machine. This is an excellent machine for the price, right? Because is it refined as the Polaris and the Hondas and all that stuff? The answer is no, right? But the Polaris and the Hondas and the other manufacturers, I don't even know who, let's see, Yamaha makes one, Kawasaki makes one, Deere even has the Gator, right? This is nicer than the Gator, I believe. But at any rate, the thing is you're not paying for those kind of, like, when I say premium features and stuff, now this thing has a lot of premium features on it. It's got the adjustable shocks, it's got the CarPlay, it's got the power steering, it's got the backup camera. All those things are premium options, right? But also all those things are easy to install. Technology is easy to install on these things, so it doesn't cost a lot. But you're not paying $6,000 to $12,000 more for the Polaris name and the Honda name, and you're still getting the winch up front. You're still getting the adjustable suspension. You're still getting the dump bed. You know, are the plastics as nice? It's debatable, right? I haven't had any issues. I've run mine through the woods. The plastics have held up fine. The camouflage wrap has held up fine. I haven't had any scratches. I haven't busted a tail light yet. Give me another couple months. I'm sure I will. I run it through the woods a lot. So it's, I mean, you know, it's only been 3 months, but it's been sitting outside in the sun for 3 months, and it doesn't look like it's been faded. So it's whole, you know, for 3 months, and we're just now getting into the summer. So I'll do like a year review on it as well, and we'll get to where we can see if the sun has done some damage to it this summer in this hot Florida sun, because this Florida sun is, I mean, it's relentless, right? So we're going to see if indeed the sun fades the camo wrap that we have here. Some of the things that I've noticed on daily use. Now, I do have a Polaris around here somewhere. I do have a Polaris. It does not have power steering, and it's a 4-seater. So I'm telling you, this power steering, it is amazing. It's worth every penny. So when you get if you get a buggy or you get a UTV, make sure it has power steering, because that will say it's unbelievable the difference that it makes. Now the CarPlay, that's pretty cool too, because you know you can get your hands free calling. Yeah, I mean you don't need the maps per se if you're going to keep it on your property, but you know you do have that option because it's built into CarPlay. That's a super nice feature. You can listen to Pandora, you can listen to Spotify, you can whatever, you know, Audible, if you're going to listen to some books while you're out working or whatever. So it does, the CarPlay is a really nice feature. The backup camera, you know, it's just a cheap backup camera. Heck, you can buy them from Best Buy all day long, you know, right? But it hey, you'd be surprised for everyday use and stuff. You'd be surprised how often you use a backup camera. You get spoiled, you know what I mean? So it's really a convenience. Now inside the dump bed here, you have tie downs, and I think the dump capacity is I want to say it's 500 pounds, maybe 550 pounds in the bed of this thing. And it's got the tie downs here. I've used it to, I've put a sprayer in here, and I've sprayed liquid fertilizer, and I've sprayed a 25-gallon sprayer in it, right? So I have been able to use the dump bed. I've lowered the tailgate here. I put the 25-gallon sprayer on it, and secured it to the bed here. So it's worked out nice, you know, because the sprayer takes up about this much space, and then on the backside I have room for the bags and the chemicals and things like that. So that was nice. The tailgate, nice, no big deal there. Opens and closes, nice. Not a big deal on the tailgate. Uh, Unleaded fuel. I have had to put fuel in it. I can't remember how many gallons, but it don't drink fuel, but it don't, and you know, it ain't a Prius. So who should buy this Bighorn, this style UTV? Well, first of all, guys that are on small land, you know, small acreage. Also, guys that are budget minded. Also, guys that are DIYers. Those are the target demographic that should buy a UTV like this. You know, if I had a big cattle operation where I had to go through, you know, or maybe a big row crop operation like corn or soybeans or potatoes, something like that, then, you know, maybe I'll go with a four-seater. Maybe I'll go with a different option, a different style, maybe even a different brand. But for someone who has 2 to 20 acres, we've got 75 acres out here. This thing is not going to bust your bank. You know, you could get, so people ask, how much did it cost? Well, the answer is the Bighorn sell from $10,000 to $15,000. So if you want all the options, you're going to be on the $15,000 side. If you want something super basic, no windshield, no doors, no, I don't know if a winch is standard or not, but anyway, you know, some of the options, no doors, no windscreens. Listen at me talking to my British friends over there. No windscreens, no doors. Um, Maybe not the premium audio package, then you know you're going to be in the $10,000 range. If you want the camo wrap, the winch, the windows, the doors, the windshield, the back windshield, the roof, all that is, you know, then you're going to get into the $15,000 range. So looking at $10,000 to $15,000, depending on, you know, what options you get. But I just noticed that has a grab handle over here too. That's pretty good. Let me show y'all that. Look at there. How come I just noticed that? That's a nice feature. It don't have one on here though, nor does it have one on that side. So you don't have a grab handle on that side, but you do have it up here, which I think is optimal. I don't like them when they're on the A pillar, to be honest with you. But anyway, that's who should buy, right? You know, you do get cup holders, you get a place to put your phone, headrest on the back, stuff like that. So after 3 months of owning it, do I regret it? No, I don't. Did the gamble pay off? It sure did. I've liked it a lot. again, now I will be on. I'm just going to be honest with you here. I don't have, I don't have a lot of long use with it, right? As far as like the further this thing goes, there's 3/4 of a mile, and that's to the other side of my property and back. So I haven't taken it to like a park, like a UTV park. I haven't run it through creeks. I haven't run it through. So have I beat it up? Well, I've worked it, but I haven't really like just muscled through the woods with it. You know what I mean? First of all, because I'm 55 years old and kind of responsible. And second of all, I knew when I bought it that I wouldn't be doing that kind of stuff with it. So if you're looking at a UTV to take to a park, a UTV park, or off-road trails or something like that, this probably ain't your best option. If you're looking for a UTV to go trailblazing with through the woods that you're going to beat and bang all the time, this might be a good option for you. But nonetheless, I knew that all the roads on my property are already established, I guess would be the word to use here. So, so I'm not really cutting new trails with it, but I do go through some tight spots in the woods to get to some feeders and things like that. And it's worked out good for me. The winch is a nice option. It does have in and out. Now, I will say something about the winch here is I really wish I would have gone with the remote. And they make an aftermarket remote for it. Really, if you're trying to winch something by yourself, it's just aggravating, right? So you could actually, this winch works great. It's never gave me any problems whatsoever. So I think that using the winch would be good. I've seen my buddy Tony over at Tony's Tractor Adventure use the winch, and he lifted like big poles with it and stuff when he was building his cabin. So you can use the winch more than just pulling yourself out or getting stuck. You can help other people get unstuck. You can lift poles and beams with it. But the winch is a very, very nice option. But I really wish I would have went with the remote for a one-person operation. So think about that if you're trying to upgrade your winch system. So is it a Polaris? Nah, but you're not paying for the Polaris. Is it loud? Yeah, but so's my chainsaw. Is it sluggish from high gear, from a dead stop? Yeah, but I'm not drag racing it, right? So, all these little minor inconveniences, to me, you got to weigh. Is it worth the, $6,000 to $12,000 to get something like a Polaris or whatever? And people will talk about dealer network and service and all that stuff, and that's a valid concern. I 100% think that's a valid concern. But Bighorn is, from my understanding, is doing all they can do to get, service techs answering your calls if you need it and all that stuff, and getting service techs to help you troubleshoot items and take it in for authorized repairs, things like that. That's a valid concern. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I get you. I hear you. And so what's funny is some people are going to write that in the comments and not get to this part of the video. And they'll be like, well, I wouldn't have it because it don't have a service department, or how do you service it when it breaks? I mean, I get it. It's a legit comment for sure, or a legit concern, because you can't take it back to Tractor Supply and have them fix it. You got to use their authorized service agents, which I mean, to me, maybe I'm just getting soft, but I don't, either I'll fix it myself or I'll use their service agents. I don't care as long as somebody fixes it, right? When it breaks or if it breaks. But after 3 months, lucky, I'm lucky that nothing has broke yet. What about you? Let's start a conversation about what's been your experiences. And here's what I don't like about the comment section, right? I don't like the fact that somebody gets in there and says, my friend had one and it was junk. And that's the comment, right? That doesn't help. What helps is my friend had one and the front disc brake went bad, and Tractor Supply had to send me to a service representative, and they fixed it, or they didn't fix it, or they had to wait on parts. That's the stuff. My ex-wife's second cousin's friend had a friend that had an uncle that bought one, and it was junk. Nah, those comments add no value to us, because if you're watching this, I'm assuming that you're looking into buying UTVs or something like that. So we want to be helpful in the comment section so that we can help people make an educated decision about whether or not this is a brand they need to look at or whatever. I looked at it. I talked to my buddy Tony. I talked to my buddy Joe, Joe the farmer, Tony's Tractor Adventure. I talked to Nathan Elliott out of the Woods Forestry, and I talked to those guys, and I ended up buying the Bighorn. And 3 months later, I'm super happy with it. Watch the day I brought it home right here.